welcome to That's a Thing, Accent Core. If you're a minor, get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here.
It's episode .6, and it is Monday, February the 17th. I'm Drew.
I'm Kevin, also known as Raylith. All right, minors, you better get out because we're going to do old man complaining about Facebook. This is what it's going to be. So one of the things about Facebook, I don't know. I think it's partially good in a way of its terribleness. It's the idea that you're the anonymity, and I'm not whatever. You're not anonymous on there.
Your anemones?
Yeah, your anemones are gone. But I also think that's why I don't use it. So it's the idea where if you see the sexy anime boobs and you want to hit like on that, it just broadcasts to everyone. Like Twitter does that.
Twitter does it really bad where it's like, oh, hey, Kevin liked these anime boobs and just puts it in someone else's feed letting people know what you like.
Yeah. I try to stay pure, but sometimes you just gotta click that like. It's too much.
Yeah, it's my rule for art is if I like it, I retweet it unless it's not safe for work. And typically the Twitter I follow, that means it's more of the graphic violence or gore category.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, but Facebook also just means you get like those burner accounts.
Yeah,
where it's like this person's not real.
Oh,
someone else has just made this account. It's not a real person, and they're just pushing agendas and weird, uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah, this is my account, Tom. Tom is all of the racist feelings, just full blown.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of fake accounts,
I thought you were gonna say racist.
No, I want to talk about fake accounts because that's a good segue into complaining about OkCupid and how it's gotten bad.
Oh, good. I want to talk about online dating sites too. I'm glad you brought this up.
Okay, because so I like OkCupid, and it's honestly it's still probably the best internet dating site because it's free, but it's gotten bad, and I want to blame Tinder because it's turned way more into Tinder. Where
that's definitely what it is basing its model on.
And maybe it's because I'm over 30 nerdy single guy, but the Tinder method is not friendly to me at all. Because I remember
it's also you have to get out and actually get like photos in not just your home.
Yeah. Because it used to be, so the old way OkCupid did was if you hit a like on a profile, they wouldn't get a notification unless it was a mutual match or whatever. But if you sent a message to someone, then it would just go through. But now messages.
Now it's if you get a like from someone, all it does is throw like a pixelation over it, so you can still like figure out who likes you based on those pixels.
Yeah, you gotta do some sleuthing.
Yeah, and then if you get a message, like it'll let you know you have a message, won't let you see the message, and if you see someone you haven't liked that's messaged you, it'll be like, this person messaged, like them back to see what that message is.
Or if it's or if you pay. If you pay, if you pay, you just know. But
so I have two thoughts on it.
All right.
Keep going.
No, you go first. Do your thoughts.
Okay, so my thoughts on it is I'm not approaching online dating from a lady's perspective. So if this is better for them, I know it is a hell for them otherwise.
Oh, this is way better for women on online dating. Yeah. Online dating has there are two categories. If you are a guy or male leaning or whatever,
if you're masculine,
it's it's basically your responses will be practically zero. Whereas if you're a feminine-leaning person, your responses will be leaning horrific and stupid. It's the women and girls. I usually say girls, but I'm supposed should say whatever.
Yeah, I try to say ladies or gals.
Yeah.
I say guys, so I'm okay saying gals.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to say ladies.
But listen, it's a constant barrage of like, hey girl.
Yeah.
And you hot.
Yeah.
Or wanna fuck.
It is.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's not great.
But
my other. Okay, keep going.
No, you go.
Okay, this is how this is gonna go. You can tell we're doing this one without a live camera.
Yeah, no, it's great.
But so the other thing is, I'm like, I don't know. OkCupid is all right, but I'm putting equal time into that and Bumble.
What's Bumble?
And I don't. Okay, so Bumble, check it out. But it's the same thing where it's more like Tinder, where you're swiping right and you're swiping left on people. It's worse than OkCupid because profiles are a lot more sparse. But the purpose and point of it is guys can't message. If you swipe right on a lady, it's the same thing where you see like who likes you, but they're like pixelated out, but you can still figure out who. And so whenever you match up, then the lady has 24 hours to send you a message.
Oh, okay. So they're trying to eliminate, which I guess from an algorithm sense does make more sense of they're trying to eliminate the hey girl message.
Yeah.
But
it's also Bumble's more new and hip with it. So like you get like a better variety of matchup potentials.
Yeah. Well, you're also younger than me. It's
yeah, but I'm not by much. I'm still gonna be 30 this year.
Yeah, but you're still cruising on the other side of 30. It gets different. Listen.
There's still have you changed your age settings?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No, I'm not. It's not me. Yeah, like I'm not going like. Yeah, I'm not like. Why are all these 18 to 21-year-olds not into me? No. That's. I can't do that. No, it's.
Yeah.
My standard has always been. I don't know. It's gotten slightly more lax as I've gotten older, but it's plus minus 5. It used to be plus minus 4, but now it's plus minus 5.
No, I just do plus minus. It's a 10-year chunk of time. The other thing about like I think OkCupid does it too, but Bumble will for sure give you people who are outside of your specification if they liked you. So then you like out of the pure egotism, I don't know. I'll be like, okay, someone likes me, and I've definitely not seen this picture that has shown up in likes. So then you go into settings, and you say, okay, 18 to 80 within 100 miles. And then you start looking at pictures. And be like, there we are. You're an hour and a half away. Why did you like me?
Oh, because the algorithm shoved it in there. And you gotta go. Also, what was my biggest advantage on OkCupid was I would write 1 to 2 paragraphs in a message, and that made me a king because people. But now I have to rely on my horrible visage, and it doesn't work as well. Also,
yeah, it's very much like I was chatting, and things were going like fine, and then like. I was like, hey, do you want to get coffee?
Yeah.
2 days later, I get a message saying like, oh, they responded to you. And like when I go to like look and see what it is, it's like the conversation is just gone instead.
Yeah.
It's like the same time OkCupid was like switching formats and stuff. I'm like, did this get lost or did she just unmatch me?
Yeah, they just unmatch. Unmatch is that's. I when I was first doing that stuff, I decided to like, no, I'm gonna try to end conversations correctly, and then I'm just like, nah, it's done. If I can't have a typing conversation, if that's dying out, then it's gonna die out hard. So it's over. Bam, unmatch.
Yeah.
I think it's. Oh man. Ugh. But yeah, I'm still not super into it. I still believe that you should always treat online dating as the crab trap, where you put some bait in there and you just see if anything will show up, instead of trying to like actively do it. It's a passive.
Next time, I just drive around JC for like a photo shoot day, just to have new pictures to throw on the profile.
I should just put me next to the dumpster. Just a bunch of lists. See, the thing about that sort of thing, which I said thing twice, but whatever, is it can be a tone setter. And I am a firm believer, and maybe this is wrong, but you should always give a tone setter for your internet dating profile. And like if your profile is generic, where you're just like, yeah, I like to read, and I like to go on walks, and sometimes I play, because to me that's it doesn't catch attention.
Exactly, you gotta do something.
If your profile is I'm a sack of human garbage and I love to eat garbage and then play video games, well, you're probably still not going to get anything. But
well, at least they'll know.
They'll know. There won't be.
Honestly, you delete the video games off of that intro, you might get something.
Oh yeah, you might get something. You might get a few things. But I always feel like no, you hit hard. You overwhelm. Well, you don't overwhelm, but you got to make sure that there's no surprise. No, you can pique some surprise, but they need to know what they're getting into. It's not like
there's also Hinge.
What?
Hinge is another dating app. I downloaded it briefly, but yeah, just keep going with your tone setter.
Yeah, so that's all. It's like, nah, you tone set. You set the tone. If you like
it, I'm trying not to switch amongst it, but also I think the thing that's killing you too is dating apps are trying more and more to just be phone apps and not be website.
Yeah, it's they want people basically browsing it on the phone, and I just don't like that. Or it's also because, and this is where we go from the app itself fault into my own personal failings, where I do completely understand this. Where for me, it's like, what do you want to do every day? It's like, I just want to sit at home and play video games and watch cartoons and maybe go for a walk, but that's purely just...
You are not going to get much with that.
I know. That's part of the tone setter. It's like, listen, I like video games and cartoons. I draw some stupid comics. I do go outside to walk, but that's basically to get some kind of exercise for 30 minutes to an hour a day. That's it. That's what you get.
The other option, Kevin.
What was that? Self-improvement? Get out of here.
Self-improvement.
Ugh, get out of here. I don't want that. That's not what I'm in here for.
I really hoped you're gonna say I don't want to go gay.
No. No, I can't. I don't like PPs. I don't like them.
Well, then you can be a top. Then you don't have to worry about the
No, but it's there. If it's there, I can't handle it. I don't like it. It's like the phantom PP. I don't like the phantom PP. It's Schrodinger's PP. Is it there or not? I don't like it.
You can also then just say you're an asexual gay.
No, because that's gonna see that the problem, and that's something where I am not part of the idea of you overwhelm philosophy is I don't like hiding things.
I also think that's a bad move too.
Well, I don't mean over. I'm not giving them the pure. They're not getting pure target combo on date 1. Those are exaggerated. Yeah. That's like a date 3 or 2 type of deal. That's, oh, you came back. Now the escalation has begun.
Now let's show you the mistake.
Yeah.
You've made.
No. The first one is normal. But when I mean overwhelm, I mean I don't hide the fact I like video games and watch cartoons, and then I go for a walk. Like I don't be like, oh, I'm embarrassed. It's like, no, that's what I do. I like drawing comics. Here's some of them I've drawn. I don't know. No, that's too embarrassing. I would not. I don't know. It had to depend on
it is a thing. See, yeah, I think you just say you like to draw if you touch on that at all. But yeah, there's like 4 years between you and me, and it's like a critical 4 years for cultural development. What happened in the time?
Oh, it's weird. It's really
like everyone my age knows who Goku is.
Yeah.
Whether they watch Dragon Ball Z or not, everyone my age knows who.
Well, it's sort of like, I mean, you were talking about you were in elementary school and people were playing Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I was in middle school and it was me and my dork friends were playing Pokemon and no one else was. It was like 3rd grade for me. It was that Katie Tadrick comic where everyone's like, Pokemon, ew, it's lame. When it started, I was in the ooh, it's lame.
Yeah. It's me. It was we were children, and it's made for children.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was the period of time where you couldn't say you liked Powerpuff Girls because it was a girly show superficially. So it's like boys could not say they liked that show, even if they did. And man, that show was good.
No, Powerpuff Girls is great.
You can't say. Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls is super good. All the old cartoons were good. Well, not all of them. I didn't like Cow and Chicken. Never liked Cow and Chicken. There you go.
You got the one.
That's like that one. I never liked it. I just
didn't either.
It wasn't funny to me. I think it's because the characters of Cow and Chicken were repulsive.
Gross.
Yeah, but not design-wise. It was personality-wise.
No, design-wise, too, they're gross, too. Do you not remember their human friends?
Okay, so, yes, but what I'm saying is, if your character's design is as ugly as their So I'm not above, I don't think every cartoon has to be nice looking. It's why I like Akagi, because all those people are gross and weird looking.
Yeah, but that's supposed to be.
Yeah, but those characters are fully fleshed out in their terribleness. Whereas Cow and Chicken just feel like terrible people that I would know in school and not hang out with.
Yeah, so it's like, why are you going to waste your time watching them?
Yeah, I don't want to find out about one of those kids' fantastical adventures. No. There's a reason I hate whenever they're in my project group. They're terrible.
I know, that's always the worst.
I don't want to be with Chicken and have to work with Chicken on a group project and then go home and then watch Chicken's fantastic adventures. No, you get out.
Okay, another reason I took as many honors and AP classes as possible.
Oh, Lord. All right. I think the kids are gone.
They might have stuck around for that one.
Yeah, they might have reeled them back in with the hot internet dating complaints.
Yeah. Know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah,
Listen, find yourself a high school sweetheart and marry her.
There you go. That's how you do it. Later. That'll never turn out bad. Never, ever.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does turn out okay.
Yep.
It always seems like there's one or two per class where they just met in high school and then it worked out. And you're like,
it worked out.
You're like, okay, maybe
they were already they had already matured into decent people or they met young enough that they so shaped the other one they cannot live apart now.
Yeah. There was always, I can't remember the people, but I can picture them in my mind. It was the high school, I think it was like my senior year, and there's two people and they acted like a married couple, not like bickering, just sort of that way where you're like they felt
Always
like they
together,
were,
like,
you're like, are you two grown-ups? when I was
a level of emotional maturity that is rare in a high school.
Yeah, like I could, and they were. It was like, it was weird because they would act like how you would expect a quote unquote grown up couple to be, but they were still in high school, and you're like, this is just weird. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go play Advance Wars on my Game Boy. Anyway, Seth came out in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, Seth is... So one of his V skills is the install, where he steals a move from the other character. So he has 40 different...
Yeah, like V's.
Effectively.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. And
it's nuts. Like, so there's ones where it's take Ryu. He just gets a Hadouken, he shoots a Hadouken.
Yeah.
Then there's like the next level up where it's like Laura, he steals her fireball, but he's able to press and release, press and charge it and release, or press and hold it all the way and release a max.
Yeah, which is...
And then there's other ones where it's Karen, where he gets the command dash, and he gets all of the actions out of that command dash.
Yeah, they put time.
A lot of work in.
Like, and I think it feels like, and this might be me just going conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat, but it feels like the complexity of Seth is hopefully, and this is me being a naive child, hopefully what they're going to go for in the next either Street Fighter or Versus game, like that level of character. You know?
Yeah, you're not too far off, because looking at Omega Edition, Omega Mode, whatever, in Street Fighter 4,
yeah,
a lot of the characters not a lot, but there's a decent chunk in Street Fighter 5 of characters where they're very similar to their Omega Edition.
Yeah, where it's...
Someone even, before Champion Edition even, like, pre-release dropped and all the V-Skill 2s dropped, someone pointed out, like, does, in Omega mode, this is probably her V-Skill 2. And then sure enough, it's her V-Skill 2.
Like, it's especially with the later DLC characters, I get the feeling of this is the test run for next fighting game, whether that be Street Fighter 6 or Capcom Versus, whatever that may be. I get, because it's when you look at Seth combos and how they kind of flow, and they're cool looking. Like, Seth combos are neat, and they do a lot of stuff. And it feels like maybe that's what they want for the next game, is that sort of variety.
It's really flashy.
Yeah, and that, which I think is important, especially in a fighting game. Maybe not every character, but you need to have some character where you're doing nut stuff and and you feel good about it. Did you see any of the Strive footage that was released?
You're gonna have to be more specific.
The one where it was that February update where they had the chip combo where he comboed Soul against the wall and then ran up the wall while bopping him up.
No.
It was cool. It was interesting. Like, I didn't know about it until I saw it was like Maximilian did a video on it, and then I watched the Japanese live stream or like the archive of it, and it was bad quality. But there's some nuts stuff. Like Chip can do, because of how they do like their kind of Roman floaty cancel burst thing, in Strive.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chip can do a command.
Roman cancel.
Yeah, the super Roman, whatever. He can
Yeah.
do a command grab. The animation goes into it where they kind of explode. He can Roman cancel out of the canned animation and then resume combo.
Like, I don't know. I'm just not super interested in.
I'm
I
not.
don't have a reason not to be. I'm just not interested in it.
I think it's because, and it was a thing that that they were bringing up on the Super Beast Castle Super Beast, whatever, the Pat and Wooly podcast, where until I see one of those games gets confirmed that the internet's going to be good, because that's how I play. I have to play fighting games now.
Yeah.
If the internet is
Until we know they have good netcode.
yeah, then I can't get excited for it because it's just sort of like, okay, I'll play it like
on that front. We got confirmation from Ono. He posted a tweet, I think Thursday, saying, "Oh, look forward to Seth tomorrow and late line netcode patch." So it's basically that guy in the community showing, "Hey, look, I don't even have your source code, and I still fixed your netcode."
just do it. Yeah, it's just I want good internet on the fighting games, because otherwise I'm not gonna play them. I'm just not. It doesn't even have to be like amazing. It just has to be okay. Because it's usually it's either the quality is okay or the wait. That, to me, that's almost the bigger problem, is the time between matches. Are you still there?
My solution for that, my screen went dark.
Oh, okay.
My solution for how long in between matches can take is I always just have a book.
I mean, I usually. It's just
it's a weird back and forth of you play a match, and then once that's done, then you just some of your book until it says the next one's.
Yeah, it's maybe I'm just spoiled because in the card games that I play, the wait between is at most 20 seconds, whereas sometimes in like I've tried Tekken and stuff, it's like, well, you got 2 minutes, and then at the end of that, it might be a laggy. It might be going against.
Might be a bad 2 minutes, yeah.
It's a bad, and then you gotta wait again.
There's a difference between free-to-play card game and a niche, even more niche video game genre.
Yeah. It's just, it's like, I don't know. Fighting games are just, it's so, I like fighting games, but man, it's just such
It's rough to be a fighting game fan.
It's rough because you see it and you can experience it, but you can't tell. It feels like if you. So I like cilantro. It does not taste like soap to me. And fighting games are like if 90% of the people on Earth cilantro tasted like soap. And they're just like, they're like, this is disgusting. Like, it's not disgusting. It's good. I'll eat it right here. Good. I'm like, nah, it tastes like soap. I can't eat it. And like, no, no.
And it doesn't help that developers don't know what to do. They keep doing the thing where they dumb down the game, simplify mechanics to try to get new people in, and that has not shown.
It's like no. Honestly, what you do is you gotta have characters. I think Max has talked about, Maximilian has talked about this, where it's characters people like are number one, and then it's just, if you want to get casual people in, it's just modes. That's what Smash Brothers does, where you can just, here, there's just so much in that game you can play, or Mortal Kombat, and it's just, here you go, here's this weird...
See, I don't know, to me though, that's like... I kind of disagree with that idea, because you get a casual audience in, but you don't actually get a dedicated...
I mean...
I don't know.
So that plan is on top of the game itself is good. Let's keep it... Like, you're not getting a bad game and then putting a bunch of garbage on it, because that was the PlayStation 2 Mortal Kombats, where those were chocked full of content and it was all bad. Yeah, you go.
They don't teach you how to play them.
Yeah.
The only way you can learn to play them is to actually play against other humans. And people don't want to do.
Yeah, it's the masochism. It's you got to be the person that wants to jump into the pool and say, I need to lose. There's no other way.
Not even I need to lose, it's I'm going to lose. I'm not going to win every match. It's an overlying problem with video games as a whole, is they're very good at lying to people and telling people they're good at.
That's true. It's not the famous Purge Gamers Guide to Dota 2, which is welcome to Dota, you suck.
Yeah.
It was like this huge long tutorial of how to play Dota and what the stuff does, and at the very end it says, congratulations, you're now awful at Dota 2. After playing 50 matches, you will now graduate to being bad, and then 50 more, you might be okay. It's like
Brad Shoemaker says what? You have to play 1,000 hours of Dota before you start.
I would say it's not 1,000. I'd say it's about 100. Once you hit about 100 hours of Dota, you get it.
And the great thing, like any genre, if you played a lot of Dota, you could probably jump into LoL.
Oh yeah.
Take a little bit to get familiar, but then you play. And that's true for fighting game. You play one enough, you get to where you can jump into similar games, and you're like, okay, I understand.
Oh yeah, because it's a skill set, and the skill set is similar. It's if you could do a Hadouken, then you can do a Hadouken in every single game that requires that input. Except maybe King of Fighters, because that's a little bit more strict, but you know.
And I don't even just mean being able to do a Hadouken. I mean things like understanding spacing.
Oh yeah, and
being able to hit a button and be able to say that's a good button.
That sword character goes real. That Gordo too just goes. You press that button.
You start spinning that thing has been nerfed hell.
It should have been. It felt really good, almost too good. It's
a shame that Samurai Showdown didn't take off more, because I honestly think that is the best beginner fighting game to come out in.
I agree, and it's purely because of it's what's your optimal combo, whatever, and it might not be optimal, but you can just press that circle button. You press that heavy slash, and they're going to feel it.
And it's so wild that your losses are just, well, yeah, I got hit by Ishin and took 80% damage. Nothing I could have done there.
Yep. I'm really curious about the League of Legends fighting game. I think that is the thing I'm most curious about.
My money is it's going to be like Street Fighter V and Guilty Gear Strive, where all of the numbers and frame data have already been calculated for what this button will be and what it does and how it's supposed to be. that's another reason I like Samurai Showdown. Everything is so weird and the situations are so malleable that your buttons aren't predefined for what they...
I mean, it's just... I want to see what it is. I'm curious. Yeah. I just... because I know it's going to be Rising Thunder. I know it's Rising Thunder, both League of Legends.
I don't know. I don't know that it will be. Other than it'll be... Probably will be. These are your normal buttons, and these are...
I think it's going to have a Smash Brothers style, because that seems to be... I think that's what Grand Blue does, where it's...
Grand Blue, it has your normals, and you can still do special moves the traditional way, and that'll have a smaller cooldown timer than if you do the special.
Yeah, you do like the forward B, but if you do quarter circle forward B, it's a little better. I would imagine the League fighting game is going to be doing something similar to that.
James Chin put out an article, I guess last week, or his Patreon, but it unlocked just his thoughts about what he likes about Samurai Showdown compared to other modern games.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes a lot into how a lot of modernity has been defined by playing with your so hard.
Yeah, I think
playing with.
All right, you're kind of coming in and out.
Just.
Uh-oh.
Are we hitting the end of the podcast?
No, okay. You're coming in okay now. We just had we had a hitch. We had some hitching.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I think maybe part of the blame is MOBA, the popularity of MOBAs, because a lot of MOBA stuff is way granular, where their buffs and nerfs are way more like, we're gonna nerf this stun by from 2.7 seconds to 2.2 second and that kind of thing. And I think fighting games trying to balance themselves that way doesn't work, because
I don't think they've looked at how MOBAs do their balance.
I just think that people in general, they don't want, they say they want balance, but they actually don't. People do not want things to be balanced. It's just not. That's not how they.
You don't. You don't. It's very much. They want balance in the sense that every character is bombastic and strong, and everyone has bullshit. That, to me, I think every great fighting game you can look at that people look back on with fondness has a lot of bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
So that when you're playing it, you hate it and you're miserable. There's all kinds of people calling out others who are reminiscing fondly about CVS2.
Oh,
but it doesn't stop people from being like, now that's how you make a fight.
It's you want your character to feel unfair, but you don't want the other person's character to feel unfair.
Yep.
And it's also, I think, but what I do think, and I don't know how to, well, maybe, it's just, I think people, well, it's the Marvel Touch of Death combo. I don't think people, when you're getting, I don't know, it's just that idea of, I got hit and now I'm dead. Even if that hit was hard to do and that setup took hard, playing it, they feel like, well, I don't get to play now. I don't get to press the buttons.
It's the other thing of, if the other character is BS, it's not your fault you got hit by. No one could have blocked. When Zero jumps and does a lightning on your incoming, you're guessing left or right.
I don't know where that thing's hitting.
Yeah, so it's not your fault if you got hit. That was just some bullshit.
Yeah.
That's how fighting games need to work around. Where MOBAs, you have teammates to blame. Fighting games, you should always have bullshit.
There's also matchup crap in MOBAs because I've been watching League a lot, and you'll get where the counter picks are real, but they're also somewhat balanced because the counter pick might counter one champion, but then the whole team suffers because they don't have internal team synergy. So during the beginning of the game, yeah, your dude beats them when they're like 1-on-1, but once you get to the big old 5v5 fights, that character can't really do anything anymore because they don't have any stuns or whatever, and that's always fascinating. We talked about fighting games. Anything else not fighting games that you want to talk about for the last 10-ish minutes?
Okay, it turns out I kind of know how to play spades.
Oh.
We've played Anime Hearts so much. Turns out regular spades is not so different.
Yeah, that's true. You know what we could do? Let's talk about our feelings about Anomaly. Because
I just realized we should talk about that too.
Yeah, we'll talk about, we did a game of the indie board game, indie tabletop game Anomaly. We ran that. It was
collaborative storytelling.
Drew and Nolan. We ran a thing about it, and that game's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does what you want it to do. I will say, I think, and I'm not sure, because I don't know how much. So how much like tabletop role playing stuff have you done, Drew?
I've played some D&D 3.5, 5e, and I've played some board games.
All right. Now we're gonna get super nerdy with it. Have you ever done any RP in like a chat room or like a video game or just whatever? Because I have.
Back in the days of hotmail.com, I did a little bit, but not much.
Okay, so I did a lot. That's why a lot of the stuff I was on with when I was playing on like the Warcraft like a year or two ago, and I played for WoW a year. It was RP server, and you were RP, and a lot of that stuff it's less dice rolls and more like, you just got to kind of roll with the characters, and you got to try to make stories and do whatever. See, I think because it worked.
Emergent storytelling.
Yeah, it's more storytelling and less roll the dice. That's what I'm looking at. Because I'm not a fan of tabletop role playing games where I feel like the math shows up. I don't like it when it's because to me the story is more about like why tabletop to me is fun is that it's not like a video game where I'm in this encounter and I have to solve it by using the mechanics in a certain way, where instead you can just.
It's funny you say that because a lot of those motifs and ideas in video games, I'm pretty sure are taken from tabletop.
Oh well, they are, but to me, it's because in the video game it's automated. I loved Divinity Original Sin 2, which is just a tabletop role-playing kind of combat system, but it did all the math for me. When I hit attack,
I will say it's really stupid to me when you're rolling multiple d6.
Yeah, it's just on Divinity 2, I cast Fireball at the ground. The Fireball deals 20 to 30 damage and has a chance to hit or whatever. And it's like, okay, good. Where instead it's like, okay, I cast Fireball, and then I roll, and then I roll, and then we gotta check the damage. It's like, no, it just happens. It just happens. I did it.
Yeah, what you actually like from it is saying, like, the troll is coming to the room. We're gonna start fighting it. Oh, this is a big troll, and it's going rough. And just talking about how the fight plays out or whatever.
Yeah. Or being able to improvise and go, is the troll stupid? Can I point and say, look over there? And maybe the troll will look over there and we just run away.
I feel like it is a case where the math is necessary for most GMs and players, so they can say the other has to adhere to some level of neutrality.
Yeah.
The players can be like, the GM's not just screwing us. It's like there's math, and the GM can say, at least the math will help keep these players in line.
Yeah, where they're just, or like I can say roll for it, so they can't just constantly, they can't just ruin my plan by talking through every single opponent. They can't be doing the Miriam talks to Netero and convinces them that they're having a bad idea every single fight. Because but even though that's cool. It's also because D&D and a lot of those were like based on war games, and they were just kind of adapted. Because I fell down a Dungeons and Dragons lore rabbit hole the other day, and a lot of the stuff in Dungeons and Dragons is cool. Maybe just because I'm a dork, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's awesome. I like how
I was gonna say, I've never thought the GM. It just feels bland to me.
It's I think it's because a lot of the cool stuff, or the stuff I think is cool, is probably not what the mainstream people think is cool, or maybe it is, and I'm trying to be over self-aggrandizing myself. So the video I thought was the neatest is how in Dungeons and Dragons, demons and devils are two separate things, and they hate each other and are constantly fighting each other because the demons are chaos and the devils are law, but they're both evil.
Yeah.
So hell is just a constant war between the two, and the idea is that the devils have a sense of superiority because in their eyes they're actually noble and just. Because, listen, if we weren't around, then the chaos would show up. So you better serve us. We're doing you a favor. It's like, no, you're evil. But they're like, no, we're like number one. You should understand.
Rules.
Yeah, we're hanging out. The devils are your friends, and that's why you should become subservient. And it's like, and I think that's an interesting take. But it's. And there's a lot of weird little stuff like that. Like, a lot of D&D... It's like some D&D monsters are really stupid. And I kind of like them. I like the ones that are... You look at them and you're like, this is like a doodle made in the 70s, but it's been around since then, so we have to somehow keep it in here forever. And somehow justify it. And I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But, I mean... And then there's just... It's just... I don't... Back to Anomaly. Anomaly is great because it's just you gotta be going in to make a weird story. It's to me, the game is all about alley-oops and layups, where ideally everyone is trying to set someone else up to do something cool instead of doing something cool yourself.
And it feels so good when someone picks up. It feels really great to establish an idea and plant the seed for what you hope happen, and then someone else does exactly what you.
Yeah, and I think that's why it works. And if your play group or whatever couldn't do that, I think the game would be way worse. If you had someone where you're trying to talk about, here's the dead nature god, and then they just go like, and then the robots show up, and you're like, no.
You need everyone on the same page.
Yeah.
And it still feels nice when someone else has 3 categories for payout. I think the bottom categories, they do something different, but still good.
Yeah.
Like, still within story. I'm not addressing bad.
No. This is. I would agree.
But if they do something not what you were putting down, but it's still good. Tier 2, slightly better, is where they did what you. And tier something different, that's even better than.
Yeah, that's tier 1 is you were planning for A and they gave you B, and B is way better, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. No, you're planning for A and they gave you S.
Yeah, and you're like, ooh, ooh. It's those moments. An anomaly is cool at make whenever those moments happen, and it usually, because of how it works, that those moments can work really nicely.
Because it's also fascinating that what will be obvious plot threads to you are not even like in the realm of what
your players, your fellow group is thinking.
Your party.
Yeah.
What your party is thinking. I know at one point me and Nolan were both thinking, well, obviously the guy got dragged into the cursed mall store is going to show up as an employee in the mall store.
Oh, I didn't think of that at all.
Yeah, like you didn't have that idea at all.
No, I was not thinking about that at all. Was it?
So it's a weird.
Yeah, you got it.
It's a weird mix of having people focused on the micro level and the macro level, and the game itself is designed to get players to think about both sides. So if you're normally a micro player, the game will occasionally force you into a macro.
Yeah, and vice versa. Because sometimes it'll be just the card or the detail you have to talk about is the weather in the town or the weather around the area. And and you're like, crap, I wanted to talk about... No, you got to talk about the weather. But sometimes that can make it way more interesting. Because you just got to add in got to throw in that little monkey wrench. My only complaint about Anomaly is, while it is good, I don't think, I don't want to play, that's not a game I want to play every week. It's one I'd want to play maybe once a month or so, because I feel like at some point you're going to get used to the things I like. Like you're going to figure, I would say, if you play that often, you're going to figure out what things people like to do and directions they like to go. And you're going to kind of be like,
that's where you can get into self-improvement. You can start setting more rules and ideas about how you ground and structure the thing. You can, because I was thinking, instead of I think it's very easy to look at Anomaly from our point of view and always want to place it in modern time.
Oh, I was going to suggest, so we can just, it's like the last 8 minutes or so, it's fine. I was going to suggest that the next time we play Anomaly, because I remember you said you wanted it to be like really small scale, where the organization, so to speak, was just like either an apartment building or the floor or somewhere that someone lives on, and not a paranormal investigation or even like just like the neighborhood. That's the organization or whatever.
And see, that's what I mean though. Like, you change it that way from it being a bigger story to a smaller story. But you can also, instead of saying that's when it is, we could say no, it's taking place in like the ages, and the organization is something akin to the Knights.
Oh, like it's the church. Oh, yeah. You can do that stupid. You can live that stupid thing about the Pope making the deal with the fairies.
Yeah, we could tell that story.
Oh, that's a good one.
You can also do things like Alien.
Yeah, I wanted to do a space one. At some point, I wanted to do either an Event Horizon or even a Star Trek. You could do like a Star Trek where
it's so loose. There's plenty. As long as you're not willing to be open to the potential setting.
Yeah. You
could play the game every week, but I think every month or at most every other week.
Yeah, you just have to make it. You can't, like, I love SCP, but you can't have every week be the SCP. Effectively, which is like government bureau or vaguely government bureau trying to deal with paranormal stuff. It has to be more like Make it weird. Make the definition of organization and investigation loose. I think that's how you do it. Even just like a family, like a typical family. That's your organization. The head is grandma. There you go. That's when another group comes in. It's just the cousins. Anyway.
And see, they don't always have to come in.
Yeah,
or it could be it could be the Dinkelbergs.
Oh, the Dinkelbergs. Okay. Oh, that'd be interesting. Okay, now my brain's a thinking. I think it's time to the program's sputtering. So I think we done.
Yeah.
Recommend anomaly.
If you're curious about what Kevin meant by the Pope and the fairies making deals, don't be afraid of the.
Yeah, I think that movie is not great, but I think about it a lot. The ending of that movie is incredible.
It is great.
The ending of that movie is probably my favorite part, other than that one sentence about the Pope making a deal with the fairies.
That movie has a lot of good stuff going on in it.
It's about mean fairies, and one of the things I've been trying not to do is I really like mean fairies. Like that Changeling, the Lost stuff. Oh, I love it. I adore a mean fairy. Big time. Anyway, thanks for listening.
Later days.
Bye.